Hi, this is Lara at Elliott Wave Forex with your free US dollar index Elliott Wave analysis for the trading session started Monday the 30th of August. Starting out with a look at an historical chart just quickly, we're going to go back 3 years for the dollar. We had a 5 waves down, it cycled at primary to end primary C, to end a cycle degree wave B, followed by a 5 wave intermediate degree up for a primary 1, followed by an A, B, C expanded flat correction for a primary second wave, working on a primary third wave to the upside now. This is going to subdivide at black or intermediate degree into a 5 wave impulse structure, of which we've already had black 1, black 2, and we're working on the early stages of black 3 to the upside now, most likely. At primary degree, a target to the upside for primary wave 3 may lie at 120.59, where it reaches 2.618, the length of this primary wave 1. It's already getting reasonably close to equality with 1. At 1.618 its length, it'll be at 102.87. I expect it may very well go higher than that, considering the length of this intermediate wave 1. Taking you now to a daily chart just for the last 1 year, where this black 1 and black 2 is this black 1 and black 2 down here. And here's a 5 waves up to start this primary third wave, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 at minor degree with an extended 5th wave. The second wave correction has ended a fair chunk off, but still somewhere around about the second wave within this 5th wave extension, which is a pretty common turning point after 5th wave extensions. Now that wave 3 black to the upside is underway, we should not expect to see any movement below its start, 80.1. Although for my trading purposes, I'm going to leave my invalidation point just down here at the start of pink wave 3 at 81.92. Within this third wave at intermediate degree, it's going to subdivide into blue at blue or minor degree, a 5 wave impulse. That's the only structure allowable for a third wave, which is good because they're the easiest to analyse and the easiest to trade. So we're going to have a blue 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Within blue or minor 1 to the upside, we're going to have pink or minute 1, 2, working on 3, and then 4, 5. Within this third wave, it's subdividing at green degree into 1. We've had the end of 1, probably the end of 2. We may very well, therefore, be looking at the very start of a third wave within a third wave, within the start, a first wave of a third wave. So we may very well be looking at some pretty strong upwards movement for the dollar early this week. Taking you now to an hourly chart where this green one up here is this green one up here, and here's a really nice clean 5 wave structure up for 1. ABC down with a little bit of a problem in here for green wave 2 to the downside. This is quite nicely contained in a parallel trend channel with an overshoot to end wave C, a trend line drawn from the start of A to the end of B, and a parallel copy placed on the end of A sees this downwards ABC zigzag fairly nicely contained, but most importantly, when we see some movement above the upper edge of this small parallel trend channel, that's when we'll have our confirmation that this correction for a second wave is over and a third wave to the upside is underway. I'm just going to flick back to this chart here. It is possible that we could have had A could have been completed here for 2, a 3-wave structure for B. If that's the case, we need to see some movement below this point here, the start of green wave 1 or the end of pink wave 2 as I have it labelled here, at 81.92 pretty soon. If that's the case, we should be seeing some movement below that. I don't expect that's the case. I do expect this is a 1, 2, 1, 2 working on a 3 to the upside, just like we saw back here, exactly the same sort of situation as that. So taking you back to the hourly, what we should be seeing now is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to the upside. Price should remain above this point, the end of this second wave at green degree. We shouldn't see any movement above that, although I will allow, because there's a problem within the C wave here, I will allow for the possibility that the second wave correction may not be over, and we may see a little bit further downwards movement for it. I think it's fairly unlikely, but if it did happen, price should definitely remain above 81.92. So that's why I'm going to leave my invalidation point down here. For those of you who are particularly observant, you may note that I have this purple 4 moving into purple 1 price territory. I've looked at this little piece of downwards movement on a 15-minute chart, and this little downward spike was very brief indeed. I expect that this may very well be an instance where the extreme leverage of Forex markets is allowing for short-term price fluctuations and short-term price extremes that are not normally seen in non-leveraged cash markets, for which Elliott wave rules and guidelines were originally written. If there is ever one rule that is not going to be adhered to by Forex market, it will be the one of 4 moving into 1. It's rare, it's technically possible, and it's only allowed to happen intraday or on a daily chart. In this case, it's happening intra-hour, not even really intraday, so it's a very, very brief, small little spike. So this wave count is technically possible, but I have a little problem with that. The reason why I'm going to leave this labeling here is this structure with a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 has a really, really good overall look to it. It has a fairly nice Fibonacci ratio within it. This third wave at purple degree here is just 0.04 longer than 1.618, the length of 1, a tight Fibonacci ratio there. This fifth wave, however, is 0.14 longer than equality with 1, so trying for equality and failing by a fair chunk for these very small waves. But because we have this really nice tight ratio here, it has a really strong 5-wave impulse look, which is exactly what we should be seeing for a C wave right here. Because of that, I'm going to leave the label here with the caveat that we may very well see some further downwards movement for 2 green. I'm fairly confident of this wave count, but not confident enough to say that I'm really certain that wave 2 green is over here. I will allow that it may have some further downwards movement in order to achieve a better 5-wave structure for wave C orange. Although this sideways movement here, with this spike further moving into this price territory, if this would not be the end to wave 3 purple even yet here, because this can't be wave 4, because again 4 would be moving into 1. I couldn't allow for 2 spikes there. We could only allow for 1, and very, very briefly at that. So I expect it's most likely that the small correction for second wave at green degree is most likely over. Just a little problem with that wave count there. We'll see how it unfolds. If we see a break to the upside of that trend channel and some strong upwards movement, then that's what's happened. We've had one of those short-term price extremes induced by the extreme leverage in Forex markets. If, however, we see further lows beyond my low label 2 green, then my wave count's incorrect and we're allowing for a little bit more downwards movement. That's all for me with your dollar analysis, and I hope everyone had a fabulous weekend.